We live in the richest country in the history of the world. It's also the greediest. Everything is for sale. Our innocence, our confidence, especially our individual significance. Souls are sold daily to help the economy, to boost CEO salaries. Memories are purchased, futures are bought. They're placing value on the quality of our thoughts. Big business has never been larger. Life is getting harder. We're not even silent partners. Wall Street bets getting shattered have nothing to do with what really matters. Yes, the stock market is at an all-time high, yet many are just broke enough to die. 10% of the population owns 83% of stock. Market success doesn't mean squat on my block. Record profits and tax shelters are never enough. They're buying up the fake leaders we're supposed to trust, and we don't see any trickle-down benefits. They privatize the narrative until it makes sense, until we fight it. And why not? We're people who are entertained by fighting, by sport, by competition. We always have been. When it comes to our economy, the results are already in. The competition is rigged. The sport is missing. The fight is over. It's a unanimous decision. The decks are stacked. Control has been purchased. Cries for help are met with a dismissive denial of service. They do it on purpose. The private sector likes to have sex without protection. It increases the sensationalism, but worsens our rejection. The privatization of education has left us worse as a nation because people get ignored when knowledge is war. A public education doesn't have the benefits it had before, so they devalue, defund, declare war on the young until we grow up distracted. No one's understanding what's happening. Doubling down with smartphones, Twitter musings. America's supposedly winning, but the people are losing. Intellect is being attacked faster than facts. Money buys silence. We need to talk back. We need to be protected from corporations and rich parasites who tell us we got to be protected from independent news websites. They'll control the conversation, dumb us down, prevent people from resisting the crowd. Fake news isn't fake when the truth isn't allowed. Corporate media wouldn't lie. Soon they'll be the only one around. Because some of those who claim to be the resistance are really the assistants. When I talk about freedom, when they have stakes in private prisons, when it comes to the numbers they've been sold, you missed it. But at least you know fantasy football statistics. They're gutting the private sector, unapologetic soul collectors, and if they get caught, they want to privatize their crimes, their sins, sexual harassment and cashing in, murder to fraud to rigging elections. The lies are easy to find while the truth asks for directions. No one is immune because they privatize the protections. Privatize means authorized, it means special, VIP, it means inequality. It means no corporate masters have to answer for public disasters. If we can't regulate how much you can take, what rules you can break, then millions of people suffer from one rich guy's mistakes or his greed. Now they're trying to make the internet like our government. Representatives don't represent anyone other than elites whose limited ownership trumps net neutrality. What's wrong with having things for everybody? It's not stuff for free. We paid with our safety, our minds, our love, our lives. Why does healthcare cost twice as much as the other guys? It's not about healing. It's about enriching. How sick is it to covet profits from medical conditions, so-called free markets owned by the richest? What is this? Exploitation, but they call it capitalism. When we let the rich decide, they'll protect their interests, turn freedom into fascism. Business done in private offers no transparency, free to create and innovate ways to circumvent democracy. Innovation doesn't come from the bloated, it comes from the hungry. We've privatized ignorance, we get none of the money and all of the misery. Nowadays, men want to privatize women's bodies, tell you what you can't do. Right after they tell you what they want to do to you, try to convince you that rules are un-American. If it were up to them, it would still be 1850, where slaves could be bought, women were an afterthought, and every job was risky. They privatize voting. We've privatized knowing that those with the most share the least. Is that what we want freedom to be? Uncle Sam now works for free. Lady Liberty's been assassinated. They privatized racism, sexism, and stupidity because now those things are unregulated. I can't take it. We have to bring the power back to the public. That means standing up, shouting loud, marching strong, voting out. The many cannot be small. The elites may have everything, but they can't have it all. Thank you.